Hello. Hi, 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 hi. You can hear me, right? Right? You can hear me, right? Hi. Okay. So here's the deal. There's things like what is it? Like Rainmaker, Keymailer and Lurkit, right? And so you can make accounts on those sites, and then you can like find games that interest you, and they'll give you a key or whatever, right, in exchange for playing their game or whatever. And I don't like do that with like just any and every game or anything. Just to preface, um but I found this game that I'm gonna be playing today called Inhuman Resources, which just I don't know. It seemed like an interesting concept to me, you know, um, and so because of that, I'm gonna play it today. I'm technically running, I think running late, um, or maybe the embargo just lifted. I have no idea. Honestly, I'm a little confused. I've never used Lurkit before. Because right here, I see like prohibited to publish any content before this, and then end date ended about 23 hours ago. But it's also confusing because when I go to my keys area, it says I have 5 more days to complete it. So maybe I'm actually okay. Maybe I didn't mess up, and that's a good thing. So let's start with talking about. Hold on, I can be in just chatting for a second. Alrighty. So, ooh, I just hit my knee. That did not feel good. Ugh, it did not. It did not. Hold on, I need to change that to live chat so I actually see everyone in YouTube. I wish that it would default to live chat instead of top chats or whatever. But yes, hello YouTube, hello Twitch. I love you, my sea jellies. So let's pull up some visuals real quick, okay? Some visuals. Doobity doop boop 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 doobity 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 doo boopity boop 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 boop. There we go. There's image. And human resources. And then we pull up a thingy. We pull up a thingy. Let's see. What does this look like? Hold on. Let me. Okay. So just looking at this, I'm like, man, these people look creepy as hell. Like there's something wrong with them. So just from the way it looked alone, I was already like, this seems kind of interesting. So it's a choose your own adventure horror story of some sort, right? And there's a bunch of different routes, multiple endings. There's some interactive like puzzles to it, some RPG elements. But I feel, is it a little bit of a visual novel? I don't know. The tags I see are horror, choices matter, narrative, atmospheric, RPG, and indie. So, experience a non-linear storyline with countless possibilities. Befriend demented coworkers, survive sadistic supervisors, and unearth the evils hidden within Smyrna. Smyrna? Smyrna? I don't know how to pronounce it. Core. Flesh out your employee profile by increasing your skills in finding hidden items, allowing you to discover secret paths. Do whatever it takes to survive your 9 to 5, steal confidential data, distort video footage, hack a colleague's computer, and crack open vaults to meet company expectations. Discover a collection of short stories written for the game's universe by an extensive cast of Canadian. They're Canadian. Oh gosh, I don't know. I'm gonna have to end stream right here. Canadian. No, I'm joking. I know lots of people from Canada, and they're all fabulous, wonderful people. Full English and French localization available. It does make sense now that it's only English and French that were available. I was like, that's such an interesting choice. Only French and only English. I wonder if it's from France. But no, Canada makes so much more sense. So anyway, yeah, this is the game, and do 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 do. The developers are Finnegan Motors. Yeah, yeah. So right now this is like the beta version of it, which is kind of exciting. I've done a couple of beta testing for games throughout time, right? I did a beta testing of a different, like, retro-ish looking game. This one's not retro, obviously. Gosh, I don't even know, like a few years ago. But when I was younger, in my early 20s, I did some alpha or beta testing for Elder Scrolls Online, and that was super fun. It was really broken though when I was playing it, as you can imagine. Alrighty, let's get started with the actual game. I feel like, explained enough of the premise to kind of get that stuff going, right? Or does anybody need me to go over any of it again? Basically, we're gonna be, making friends with evil people and just trying to survive work. I wonder if the evil stuff going on is that they're making you do your job. It's that one thing like, ugh, go to my work and a customer walks in, ugh, 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 that sort of thing. But I don't really know. All right. Okay, we're right here and right here. And right here. And double double I need. There we are. There it is. Hello. Okay. Oh, I lost it already. Leave it to me to be this way, right? That wasn't the right thing. I pulled the wrong thing off. Gosh. Why am I like this? Huh? Why am I like this? That's silly stuff. That's silly stuff. Okay. Is this loud enough for you, or is it perhaps too loud? Oh. Is the game audio even... Oh, I'm not even on the game area. I was going to start playing and you weren't even going to see it. It wasn't even going to be on screen for you. Okay, game. All right, now can you hear it? Hold on, why isn't it showing over here for me? That's strange. That's strange. Why is it not showing it all of a sudden? I specifically... There it is. There it is. Is that sounding okay? Oh. I need to know. Does it sound all right? It's kind of low. That might be something that I have to change in here then. Please enter your name. Zelva. Mommy. Zelva. Nah. I'll just be normal. Zell. Just gonna be Zell. We're gonna be that chill employee, Yeah, just call me Zell. Yeah, we're cool. We're friends. We're buddies, right? Right? There are 3 deaths. The first is when the body ceases to function. The second is when the body is consigned to the grave. And the third is that moment, sometime in the future, when your name is spoken for the last time. Wait, hold on. Are these the settings? Well, shoot. Okay, then. Wait, hold on. What was the voice? Okay. All right, let me fix that. The phone call. Quite fancy. Okay. Screech, screech! An all too familiar screeching reverberates inside your brain. The noise comes in waves. The pain follows suit. You try your best to ignore both, but the mere fact you've acknowledged the awful sound means it's already won. Your phone's alarm is simply much too loud to ignore. Thank you for the follow. Defeated, your eyelids peel apart like sheets of rotting Velcro, blinking back a bad night's bleary haze. You lie in bed, awake, against your consent. The room is almost pitch black, save for the intermittent flashing of your phone's screaming screen. A rancid, if routine stench of unwashed bed sheets bids you a bittersweet good morning. You're home, for better or worse. Mostly the latter these days. Just once, you wish you'd wake up somewhere else instead. Just once, you wish time would ask permission before racing ahead. But your phone doesn't care about what you want. The unsuffering screeching drills deeper into your skull. You throw back your dirty blankets, blindly reaching for the misbegotten beast. Pick up the phone. The slab of thumb-smudged plastic feels comfortable in your palm. Most call the device ancient, but to you, it's cozy and familiar. Like an old, if outdated, friend. No oversized touchscreen, no fancy graphics card for mobile games, no constant access to so or so G network, just a simple tool with a cute antenna that still allows you time to disconnect. You've always appreciated the old and the analog, despite the wider world's obsession with digitized progress. There's sincerity in physicality, a warmth to an object's weight. You cling to this relic as long as you can. Sensible upgrades be damned. You have acquired old cell phone. You fiddle with the phone, desperate to stop the alarm. But no matter which button you press, the shrieking will not end. That's because this isn't your alarm at all. It's your ringtone. Squinting in the darkness, you barely make out the caller's ID. It's your aunt. Aunt/landlady, technically speaking. Hopefully just your aunt today. The woman is exhausting enough when she isn't asking for rent payments, no matter how overdue they are. Still, should you really ignore a call from the one person still willing to support you between jobs? I'll accept it, I guess. Static crackles as your obsolete cell phone struggles to connect. After a sharp click, you mumble a hesitant hello.
Así mi clamo.
Hey there, sweetie. Sorry for calling you out of the blue. Hope I'm not interrupting lunch. I'm bad at pronouncing this word. The scratchy facsimile. Facsimile? There are like some words I just have trouble remembering how they're pronounced. It's not that I like have never learned. It just doesn't stick in my brain for whatever reason. Of her bombastically condescending voice greets you on the line's other end. No mistaking your dear auntie. But what's this about lunch? You wince and make up a half-baked lie, pretending to talk with your mouth full. Your aunt doesn't seem to buy it. Well, I'm sure you're very busy with job applications today, so I'll get straight to the point. Do you have any idea when you'll be able to send me last month's rent? I know money's been tight lately, but it's already the 31st. One missed payment is bad enough. But 2? Shit. Landlady it is. You feel yourself deflate, glancing to the tower of rejected job applications, standing proud and precarious upon your messy desk. The top sheet almost grazes your modest apartment ceilings. Your aunt suggested to print each refusal, claiming they'd make your eventual hire all the more rewarding. You found that harder and harder to believe, ever since the letters started to outnumber the dollars in your bank account.
Así mi clamo.
Sweetie, do you have some kind of estimate for me? I would really need an answer today. You have no choice. Beg for more time to pay again. Obviously, we're losers. Okay, we're a loser. We have no money. We're a freeloader. We have to beg for it. We have to be pathetic. We have to grovel. You swallow your pride. It goes down easy. There isn't much left. Oh, there isn't much left. For the 100,000th million time, you swear to your aunt the money the second you get a steady paycheck. Until then, there's no way you can conjure cash out of thin air. An uncomfortable silence lingers over your phone speaker. After several torturous seconds, a disappointing sigh comes through. Sweetie, I let you rent that place to give you a second chance, not to keep enabling the shameful, do-nothing behavior of yours. Honestly, I'd be more than willing to forgive delays if I knew you were actually trying. But you can't expect me to believe you've been pulling yourself up by the bootstraps and giving this job hunt all you've got when you're living in a pigsty for the past year. Pigsty? You deflect the woman's accusations, blabbering in desperate denial. But as your eyes drift over the sorry state of your apartment, your ramblings soon turn to tragic silence. You've been immune to the stench for a few months now, but no amount of time will ever make you blind to the altars of the wretchedness you neglect has erected. On the floor, at your desk, in the kitchen, and even in your fridge. The outdated contraption hums like a thermonuclear lawnmower, even though you know damn well it's not keeping anything cold. Maybe ketchup packets, if you're lucky. In the kitchen, filthy cookware overflows from your sink, bathed in rancid dishwater. A thin layer of film has formed on the surface. Oh, not thin, I added that in there. My brain did that. Thick as the crust of a creme brulee. At your desk, fly-swarmed styrofoam containers amalgamate themselves into awkwardly unstable modern art installations. Your largest one can only be referred to as the Leaning Tower of Takeout. On the floor, Crumpled stacks of crusty laundry litter the unmopped ground like landmines in an active war zone. Pigsty, or not, there's no denying that this whole unemployment business has been taking a serious toll. One that's gone on long enough for your aunt's pity to become well-deserved contempt.
Sigama no suku.
Well, our room is dirty. This is our room. It's not just my room. I mean, I did name myself Zell. Maybe I should have said Sea Jelly, because then I could have blamed it all on you. You could have been the source for the pigsty, but I guess it's my fault for letting a bunch of sea jellies in my unit and trashing the place. Yeah. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Obviously, clearly. Well, what do you have to say for yourself? It's not your fault those stupid companies won't hire overqualified geniuses. She's right. You're scum. She should just evict you and get it over with. You're sick of pulling yourself up by the bootstraps. Can't someone else pull them for you? We're gonna be emotionally manipulative. You throw yourself into a dramatic triad. Triad? Shit. This has too many words I'm bad at pronouncing. I'm so sorry, y'all. Detailing your utter lack of worth, the hopelessness of human existence, and the filthy, trash-strewn ditch you deserve to die in. Preferably alone. By the time your aunt gets in a word edgewise, your face is slick with tears and mucus, your heart tied into painful knots.
Así mi clamo.
Enough! I'm sorry, all right? I didn't mean to be so harsh. Now, calm down. Please. It sounds like she's begging out of irritation than worry out of your well-being. But you listen nonetheless, taking time to control your breathing and wipe away strings of snot. The phone crackles with a warbled noise as your aunt lets out a groan.
Jimena Gomi.
Good grief. I know this mental health nonsense you keep talking about is a big deal, but you have got to get it together and take action somehow. You can't just keep using mood swings as an excuse to escape responsibility. That choice will get you nowhere. You have acquired clinical depression! No! That's not anything I don't already have, though, so... Joke's on you, game. You brace yourself as the woman prepares to deliver the most frequent, most frustrating spiel. You could probably repeat it word for word if you were ever held at gunpoint. Remember, sweetie, in our world, choices matter. The big ones and the small ones. We can't always take those decisions back, and we can't control their consequences either, which means we have to choose carefully. You, most certainly, have not been doing that. But if you have any intention of getting yourself out of this mess, you need to start making the right decisions, and soon. Sorry, that was a little dramatic in my reading. You hang your head and nod, gulping down your last trickle of self-respect. Hearing this speech frequently doesn't make it any easier to hear. Anywho, enough of that. The real reason I'm calling is because I might have an opportunity for you. Ooh. You can tell by her inflection she means a job opportunity. Your reaction is practically Pavlovian. You salivate at the thought of your unrelenting financial woes finally coming to an end. You grip the cell phone tighter, aching in anticipation. See, There's this problem employee at our company. He works at one of the local branches, right next to where you live. But the man has a terrible attitude, and is even more terrible when it comes to, well, whatever it is you think we do over there. You picture her limply waving a wrist in some vague, dismissive pattern. More of the highly confidential stuff she can't share, but brags about anyway. Not that you're entirely sure what your aunt actually does for a living to begin with. Something to do with human resources, maybe?
Enjokateme.
Needless to say, we'll be laying off the little sourpuss as soon as a fitting replacement is found. But we need that replacement fast. Company has a big business deal coming up. We can't afford to be short on staff right now.
Mojatamipe.
Sorry, just checking on something. Okay. No, I did want that. I'm sorry. Luckily, I happen to know a certain someone in dire need of a job. And this position happens to be entry level. No major qualifications needed. It even comes with a sterling letter of recommendation from yours truly. Now, this won't be an easy job. Supervisors are very strict, and the anxiety has a way of following you home. But so long as you nail the interview, you're basically guaranteed stable income for as long as you need it. Smyrna Corp? Smyrna Corp? We're just gonna call it the corp. The corporation is a proto-random layoffs.
Shakunijata.
So, how about it, sweetie? Shall I schedule something for you? Have her set up an interview pronto. You politely decline. You'd rather be poor than deal with a workplace like that. No, we need a job. High stress environment or not, it beats homelessness by a country mile. You agree to the offer with ravenous insistence. The woman breathes a sigh of relief and lets out a nervous laugh. It almost sounds like she's in ecstatic disbelief. I need a throat lozenge. Hello and welcome in.
Enjokateme.
Thank goodness. You have no idea what it means to hear you say that, dear. You're literally saving my life. Oh. I don't like the use of the word literally here, because it seems it might literally be literally. You should probably be telling her that, but you won't complain about receiving gratitude instead of judgment for once, so, don't blame him. Don't blame myself, I guess. Without missing a beat, your aunt hammers at her computer keyboard, drafting you an email. You clamber your way out of bed, tripping over day-old takeout and mounds of dirty underwear as you rush toward your laptop.
Jimena Gomi.
I've booked the earliest appointment I could possibly find. You should get an email with the time, address, and job description soon. Be sure to read everything carefully and do not be late. Mr. Burgard will skin me alive if I send him another unpunctual idiot.
Shakunijata.
Oh, and make sure not to mention that whole depression nonsense during the interview. It might make Mr. Burgard think he needs to fix you. Fix you? Rather than offer answers, your aunt whispers, farewell.
Pinjmatani.
Good luck, sweetie. I hope you'll forgive me for this someday. Ooh, gosh. Yeah, the corporation. Yeah, exactly. The line goes deathly silent, save for a droning dial tone. You get an urge to call her back, but the ding of an invitation appearing in your inbox catches your attention first. Yeah, I have a feeling that the actual inhumane parts are yet to come. Like what song? Sorry. Uh-oh. Your interview is today, at 4 p.m. sharp, no less. You curse under your breath, rushing to shower and get dressed. Your stack of rejection letters gets knocked over by your charge and scatters across the room in a whirlwind of standard issue responses. You beg with every fiber of your being not to come home with a new failure to add on to the pile. Chapter complete. Proceed to the waiting room. This might be a completely text-based game, so give me a moment because I'm going to check that real quick. Yes, it is text-based, but there will be other stuff as well. But it's still text-based, but it looks really neat still. I'm enjoying this so far. I just wanted to, confirm what was going on. Oh, I wouldn't know. I don't really listen to Coldplay all that much, but I still like Coldplay. I still think that they're pretty cool, like the couple of songs that I have listened to. And actually, I had no clue that one of the most popular songs on YouTube is by Coldplay. Like, Coldplay, one of, like, the most viewed videos. For music, I think, specifically. But it could be videos in general. Do I have everything in here correctly? I believe I do. Yeah. Sorry, just checking to make sure I have my setup done correctly. Yep. Looks good. Yeah. I think it's pretty cool. I was pretty shocked because I didn't know that people liked Coldplay to that degree. Not that I didn't think people liked Coldplay. I knew they were popular. I just didn't know that some of their music was that popular outside of, like, clocks. All right. The packed full city transit bus comes to a creaking stop right in front of an old building you've never seen before. Shoving your way past crowded commuters, you step onto an empty sidewalk. The vehicle roars away, fading into the misty afternoon and leaving you utterly alone. You briefly wonder if getting off here was a mistake. You review your aunt's documents, poring over the civic number, street name, and postal code, as though every character were the cipher to some secret code. By the time you finish your third revision, you're forced to concede. This must be the right address. But it's not remotely what you expected. I agree. It does add to the ambiance. Nestled between two gleaming skyscrapers sits a much smaller, much stranger building. There's the unnerving facade. Glazed gray brickwork and pale veined marble unite to form a vast web of extravagant monochrome patterns. But despite all the details, the sum total still gives off a sense of cold, calculated purpose. Almost like an anarchic graffiti artist were hired to redesign a palliative care center. The decorative windows. As you climb the front steps, a set of circular gold-tinted portholes stare down at you. They are unblinking, like the eyes of giant deep-sea squids. The glass is too opaque to see through, yet you suspect someone is on the other side, watching you approach. The massive front gates, made from half-ton hunks of glistening cast iron, the double doors have been decorated with an intricate bas-relief of skyscrapers swimming in fog. But ironic for such a stout little edifice. The massive front gates, made from half-ton... Oh, I already read this one. My apologies, my dear sea jellies. And the bronze door knocker. The alloy had been smelted into the shape of a crowned king's severed head. The object looks so realistic, you're scared it will be warm and wet to the touch. Unfortunately, you see no keypads, handles, or ID scanners that would allow for easier entry. The local branch of the corporation is only 4 stories tall, yet feels impossibly imposing. It's caught between outdated aesthetics and timeless sensibilities, somehow both outrageous yet invisibly subtle, as if meant to be forgotten at a passing glance, and to haunt those whose gazes linger. You suspect you may be underdressed. Your clothes aren't filthy, of course. If anything, they're rather chic. Or at least, they used to be. Neither time nor depression have been kind to your apparel. For all the class your best outfit once had, overuse has worn it down to a discolored, threadbare husk. Meanwhile, lack of money, motivation, and belief you're worthy of nice things has prevented you from buying new clothes for the better part of 2 years. Regardless, what you've got will have to do. The hour of your interview approaches, and you won't have cash to afford a better outfit until this job is yours. Reach for the knocker and bang it against the door. Well, it is my only choice, so I suppose I got to. The bronze object booms against the iron gates even harder than your thumping heart. I have to say I love the writing in this. I like how descriptive it is. I like how decorative the descriptions are. It really pulls me in. Moments later, chic, that's an old word. Is it an old word? I feel like I hear people say chic. Is it that I'm old? Maybe. Moments later, something clicks and a latch comes undone. The doors groan themselves open, inviting you inside. You step into the building and are greeted by what seems to be a 5-star hotel's reception area. The word, is it a 70s word? Maybe it could have come into popularity in the 60s and 70s, but it's still in use today. The room is utterly massive, with high ceilings that would rival a Renaissance church's cavernous belly. Its window let no sun shine through, and no fluorescent light bulbs fill it with their pale glare. There are just low-hanging chandeliers and an array of green-glassed banker lamps bathing the room in burnt orange. Upholstered sofas and coffee tables dot the space like islands, forming a winding path that leads to the room's distant depths. There, a woman stands behind a desk, flanked on each side by grillage elevators. The sharp, machine gun clatter of her mechanical keyboard echoes across the room. You appreciate the old and analog, but the corporation's apparent fondness is downright ridiculous. Hopefully, the receptionist won't feel the same way about your subpar outfit. Pretend to be confident, stride over like you own the place. Adjust your crappy clothes and meekly approach. We're gonna be confident. We gotta fake it till we make it, baby. We got this. With a little luck, it'll read as self-assurance instead of total fucking delusion. The dim lighting becomes dimmer the further you go, and thick shadows close in on you like claustrophobic walls. Wall-to-wall carpeting squishes under your feet, and an unfamiliar ammonia aroma assails your flared nostrils. Whatever they use to clean the place smells strong enough to double as a bioweapon, but still, it isn't enough to ease the lingering stench of cigarette smoke. The off-putting odor does suit the outdated decor, however. Except for those unsettling sculptures carved into the room's concrete support pillars. Disturbing shapes that assail you from all sides, emerging from the shadows like pretentious interpretations of 21st century demons. On your left, headless nude bodies are contorted in pain as veins sprout through their skin like tree-sprawling roots. On your right, a bleak rendition of what you assume to be Babel's Tower has been built out of steel girders, electrical wiring, and bones. We're in hell. I think we work for hell. I think that we, Inhuman Resources is about the torture of sinners. This is my guess. Is that this is a company meant to torture people. And that's why you have crazy, evil coworkers that you have to befriend and navigate. And yeah, okay. I already see that. Yeah. Up ahead, you see human skulls whose scalps have exploded, revealing interwoven helixes of DNA strands and binary code. What happened to good old-fashioned gargoyles? Unsettled by your surroundings, your eyes drift back to the woman working the reception desk. There are letters engraved in the wall above her, spelling out a slogan in twinkling silver font. You want me to read Latin? This is inhumane. Memoria perpetuitas mutatio. Or maybe it was memoriae. I don't know. I don't know Latin. You don't know much about the corporate branding, let alone the corporate's specific suite of services. But you're not sure how effective that cryptic slogan must be. I'm guessing that's like something with memory, something about perpetual mutatio. Mutatio. Yeah, permanent memory something, yeah. Mutatio. For some reason, my brain goes to like mutilation or mutation. But I don't know. I need to look it up. Yep, change, alteration, or transformation. Nice. Okay, maybe Latin isn't all that hard. So we're permanently mutating memories into DNA. And could that mutation be like a torture? You know, or are we just altering memories? Maybe we give them like bad dreams, or you know, if they do bad things, maybe we you know, hand out bad karma, sort of thing. You had hoped your aunt's documents would have provided insight. Instead, they were mostly full of vapid statements about connecting modern businesses with industry-leading talent, or some such variation of the standard corporate tripe. Why? Why do you hope there's no hypnosis in the game? You wave hello to the receptionist, but she doesn't even flinch. Her gaze remains glazed over, wholly focused on her work. She's younger than you first thought, maybe 30, likely not quite. Sickly pale, with sleep-deprived bags under her eyes, each one darker than the acrylic of her tidy black turtleneck. Her hair is knotted in a dainty bun, her fingers devoid of polish or rings. They move across her keyboard like demented tap dancers. Now that is a description. Wait, no. Not her keyboard. Her typewriter. It's a really, really old one. Made from brass, black plastic, and way too many moving parts. A relic from the 1800s that looks like it barely scraped through both world wars. And you thought your laptop was getting old. There's also a small desk bell glimmering on the counter. Maybe you should... She's a secretary, not a Victorian era maid. Just say hi, like a normal person. Ring it. She ignored me the first time, so I think clearly I have to ring the bell. A pleasant ding, or sounds, like clinking champagne glasses. The woman's head steps forward as though struck by an electric shock. She flashes you a beaming, not quite pearl white, smile.
Anapaoki.
Welcome to the corporation. Do you have an appointment? The words barely seep through the woman's gritted teeth. Her grin is so tight, it hurts to watch. But there's no trace of frustration. She's the dictionary definition of too friendly. Made uncomfortably manifest. Unsettled, you stumble your way through an explanation of your aunt's referral. The receptionist replies with a nod, squinting as she reads the writing on her typewriter's latest sheet. Ah, of course. We've been expecting you. I'm afraid Mr. Burgard is running a little late this afternoon. He'll need a few more minutes until he's ready to speak with you. But you're more than welcome to peruse our visitor handbooks while waiting. She gestures to a set of nearby couches and a table chock full of company pamphlets. But you're more surprised to notice someone else already sitting there. A young man with a bitter look etched into his furrowed face. Could this be another applicant for the job? An irritated customer. I'm gonna guess another applicant for the job. What? No, what if he takes it from me? Irritated customer. Odd decor aside, this is a place of business. But for a human resources company, they sure don't seem to keep people happy. Your bleak musings are interrupted by the receptionist's unpainted nails tapping at her name tag. I gotta read some French. Okay. Melusine? Sans? Melusine sans? I'm gonna call you Mel. Yeah, you're Mel. It's nice to meet you, Mel. Thank you. I'm Mel, by the way. I'll call you as soon as Mr. Burgard comes available. In the meantime, please let me know if you have any questions. With a grateful, albeit embarrassed nod, you walk away and slump into an old-fashioned sofa. Mel's rickety typewriter clacking away once more. The couch cushions feel quite stiff, or maybe your stress-clinched back does. Considering the ferocious stare down you're receiving from the stranger seated across you, it could well be the latter. A steady tick of a vintage clock draws your gaze. Its hands point in opposite directions. 3:42 p.m. 18 minutes left. Good thing you came early. You still have time to prepare before your interview, but probably not enough to do everything you want. You have to decide where to spend it carefully. Read through those pamphlets and find out more about the corporation. Mel said she could answer a few questions. Why not take her up on the offer? Strike up a conversation with the irritated man. Maybe you can learn something from him. There's a magazine on the coffee table. Give it a closer look. What if the irritated man is the interviewer? What if he is the boss? Time to break the ice. Hopefully it won't be the very thin ice you seem to be standing on with this guy. You take a seat next to the stranger, introducing yourself with a smile. Rather than ease the tension, the man scowls as if you were a clump of dog shit clinging to his shoe. His snarling voice sounds coarser than a poorly maintained gravel driveway. The hell do you want? Can't you tell I'm not in the mood? Well, if you couldn't tell before, you certainly can now. You gulp audibly, worried this person might assault you at a moment's notice, but as you stammer out some vague apologies, you notice something surprising. He doesn't look all that angry, let alone angry at you. In fact, he mostly looks fretful. The man's calloused hands aren't balled into fists, but kneading each other with relentless worry. Sweat beads at the temples of his receding hairline, wearing down the gel matting down his tar-black locks. One of his legs shudders visibly, its foot tapping the floor as the breakneck tempo of a meth-addled punk musician stomping a drum pedal. He reminds you of Mel. He has the same, not quite 30s face. Same darkened, baggy, tired eyes. Same snug black turtleneck, kept tidy as a military uniform. But his name tag reads Emiliano. he must be who's about to get fired, which is what I thought like initially, but then when they gave me like those two options, I was like, oh, maybe not. It hits you then that Emiliano isn't a company client, nor a prospective candidate after the same job you are. He's an employee at the corporation. Look, pal, if your staring is gonna give me a fit, or wait, all your staring is gonna give me a fit, either speak up or back off, alright? Your aunt warned you how stressful this place was. Best to leave him alone. This is your chance to learn from someone with first-hand experience. Ask him what his job is like. Be compassionate and ask if there's something wrong. Well, be compassionate. For you, the hardest part of job hunting was always the impression of powerlessness combined with a feeling of tremendous isolation. Even one person who could sympathize with your woes would have been a godsend. But this guy only reads your empathy as an insult. Oof. Are you brain damaged? Or just actively trying to screw with me? Seriously, if I'm getting laid off from the worst job I've ever had, why the hell would I want to get cheered up about it? Heck, if it weren't for this shitty exit interview, it'd be the happiest day of my life. You have a hard time picturing being happy about this. But no trouble whatsoever imagining why the man was fired. Then, suddenly, you connect the dots. This must be the problematic employee your aunt was talking about. You cringe so hard your jaw aches. Offering to make someone feel better right before stealing their job is a level of awkward tension you weren't prepared for. Trying to recover from embarrassment, you change the subject to this exit interview which seems to be causing such strife. Must be pretty new to the corporation if you're asking me that, huh? Look, if they just wanted to tell me no hard feelings or ask how management could have done better, I wouldn't have a problem. But these bastards don't work that way. Every person I've ever seen get called into one of these meetings comes out looking like a walking corpse, and I don't blame them one bit. Honestly, I'd rather get castrated than go into that meeting. At least then I could bring my balls back home in a pretty little box. And it'd send a loud keep out message to whoever they've called in to take my place. Well, it sends some kind of message. Still, despite the crudeness of his metaphors and the stink of booze on his breath, you sense Emiliano's fears run far deeper than unemployment. In fact, you get the feeling he wants to protect the person who'd be taking over his job. Should you reveal your identity? Confess your intentions and ask about this warning he has for you. Let's see what he has to say. After making sure the receptionist isn't eavesdropping, you whisper the truth into Emiliano's ears. His already bulging eyes grow wider as he realizes why you're here. Rather than appear relieved by your presence, you sense he's deathly afraid of it. You're not messing with me, are you? You're really here to work at the corporation? You nod briefly, explaining your precarious financial situation and assuring him you meant no offense by applying for a livelihood he'd soon be deprived of. But the booze-breathed man doesn't seem to register a single word you say. Rather, he interrupts you, leaning in so close, the surface of your respective eyebrows practically kiss. Listen to me, it's too late for you now. The moment you walk through that door, your last chance to escape disappeared. But what you can do is lessen any damage those bastards will make you inflict. The guy who's going to interview you, Burgard, if your application satisfies him, he'll ask you to go through an evaluation. A questionnaire that's meant to give you a taste of the work we really do around here. I can't tell you more without getting up to my neck and shit, but no matter what happens, you've got to do everything in your power to fail that test, okay? His plea is earnest and full of desperation, yet it's so also patently ridiculous. Why would you purposefully flop this probation? Probatory? Yeah, probatory evaluation when you're in dire need of a job? And what does your onboarding have to do with Emiliano's firing anyway? It doesn't make any sense. Yet, it doesn't stop the man from baking even harder.
Gocha seco.
You idiot. Do you not understand the kind of consequences this could have? This might be just a paycheck to you, but to me, it could mean life or death. You've got to fail the test. This is beginning to sound less like a warning and more like a threat. And judging by the alcohol-tinged spittle splattering your cheek, it's not an especially sane one. Better cut this conversation short. Bluntly tell him you can't afford to flop this evaluation no matter the consequences. Lie to him you'll definitely fail the exam on purpose and move away slowly. Yeah, let's lie. With a condescending, comforting tone, you promise to save the drunk man as you slink away from him. You barely make it a single inch before Emiliano grabs your collar. Ropes of slobber paint your face as he begins to scream.
Gocha seco.
You think I'm fucking stupid? You think I can't tell when someone's lying? You have no idea what consequences this could have faced for me. Your literal screw-up could cost me my life. So do what I say and fail. You can't let them change me. You can't. The man's shrieking turns to sobbing, but his grip only grows more feral. His claw-like fingers move towards your face. You're unsure if he's about to grip your throat, gouge out your eyes, or both. Whimpering, you cry out for someone to save you. Against all expectations, a booming voice actually answers. Oh, we're saved. Thank goodness. I need a quick break from reading so much. Whew. I'm really enjoying the game, though. It's been really fun. It's just hard to talk so much without much break, huh? So just a quick little vocal rest. Sometimes it's really nice to just breathe for a bit. Oh, thank you. I'm glad that you like the way that I sound while I do this. It's really nice. And if I was better at pronouncing words, maybe I would do something like audiobook stuff. But I'm just not. Oh, oh, what's going on with my phone? Okay. It's been like an hour. I'm gonna do like a for real break, okay? So I'll be back in like a moment. I'm just gonna go stretch. Maybe drink some more water. Y'all should do the same. It's always good to stretch. You should stretch every day. And hello, welcome in. It's nice to see you. I'm about to go on a quick break, but I will be back so soon. So don't you run away. And I'm back. Hello. Meow 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 meow. Sometimes yes, it has audio, but not not always. It depends. It's got like some sound effects and stuff. That's really all there is to it. And thank you so much for the welcome back from the tiny widow break. Mm. Mm. Thank you. I appreciate it truly. Where is the stuffy stuff? Right there. Okay. But yes, if you are just joining, we are doing some beta testing for a game called Inhuman Resources, and we're pretty sure that we're about to be hired for like hell or a form of hell torture stuff. And I guess if you get fired, you get transformed into something, which is interesting. They change you somehow, but I don't know much about it. So far, it's been really fun, but it is a text-based game, which means there's going to be a lot of reading from me. So if you're more of like an action person, this might not be the stream of mine for you. I do play a variety of different games. When I do play games, they're not all text-based. I play like Marvel Rivals. I've been playing Dave the Diver, though that's pretty text-heavy too, but there's a lot more visually that goes on. I started playing Fatal Frame as well, which I need to play more of. There's other things, I just can't remember all of them at this moment. We played Road to Impress, which is not text-based in the same way. It's interactive, like film of sorts. Kind of like Bandersnatch, if you ever played that, but a little bit different. But yes, so there's a lot of different games that I'll play, and then I also do ASMR, I also sing, I also do just chatting, and I have other fun things I want to eventually do as well. So I hope you stick around. Yay! Mr. Aguilar. Mr. Aguilar. I'm not good at like other languages. Aguilar. Aguilar. That's enough. See, here's some of the music now. Emiliano drops you instantly. His heels clack as he turns to face whoever shouted, like a soldier awaiting inspection. In your peripheral vision, you see Mel do the same, though her gesture is much faster and much more practiced. Aguilar? Perhaps? Aguilar? 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 Man. This is what I get for playing in a Canadian game. Blah, stinky Canadians. Of course. Again, I'm just joking. Canadians are great. I've got Canadian viewers. How did that even become a thing, though? Where it's like, oh, you're from Canada, like, I'm sorry. Or like, they're Canadian. Or, they're French. Or, they're European. Or, they're Californian. And, you know? Or, there's a couple I feel like. Aguiar? Aguiar? I don't know. I could like look it up online one day. Today is not that day. I can just call him Emiliano. I am depressingly monolingual, and that's one of my flaws as a US American. Many of us are monolingual and only know one single language. I should have been better about learning a second language, honestly. I wish that I could like speak Spanish, and I wish that I knew Japanese and Korean and Chinese, all three of those East Asian languages. I'd be happy to know. I also think Romanian is a very cool language. You, meanwhile, are on all fours, gasping for air and gagging on the smell of ammoniac cleaner. Never has the state of chemicals ever been so sweet. You turn to thank your savior, only to choke on your breath once more. Standing in front of the elevator is, without exaggeration, the most massive man you've ever seen. He's taller than a fridge, twice as wide, and perhaps thrice as heavy. The pure white of his immaculate dentistry contrasts with his dark skin, which reflects the room's dim light like finely chiseled onyx. Beneath that perfectly tailored patterns of his elegant tweed suit, muscles shift with every breath, threatening to burst through the seams. Are we supposed to be attracted to this man? Because the way this man was described was from the point of view of someone who is very, very, very attracted to him. Like, is that what we're noticing? And we're like, this man's handsome. Because that's what it feels like to me. It feels like we're supposed to, like, think he's very attractive. But, like, more than just like yes, I can recognize that this is a handsome person. I suppose that's true. His pale blue eyes focus on you as he speaks with a voice like velvet thunder. Friend, you have my humblest apologies for my subordinate's inexcusable behavior. I'll be more than willing to discuss potential compensation if you deem it necessary, regardless of our interview's outcome. Interview? This must be Mr. Burgard, soon to be boss, luck willing. The ding of an elevator is suddenly heard, and one of the grillage doors by the reception desk creaks open. The tweed behemoth sidles his way into the shaft, packed tighter than tuna in a too small can. He beckons you to join him with bratwurst thick finger. Yeah, Velvet Thunder was kind of horny for sure. And then like what is this bratwurst thick finger? It's just some interesting ways to describe a person. But I did like tuna in a too small can. I liked that. That was fun. Come along now. We're already behind on schedule and can't afford any more delays. What's more, I frankly cannot wait to discuss your future with us here at the corporation. Holy shit. He thinks you have a future. In that moment, Mr. Burgard's big, beaming smile is the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. Thank him and slip into the elevator. I feel like we're supposed to want him to slip inside of us. You know, because big, beaming smile is the most beautiful thing you've seen. I think we're down bad for Mr. Burgard. I think that's what we're supposed to be. That's what I'm saying. Why is baby girl noticing his fingers? And why are they being described with bratwurst, which is, you know, like... you know, why are we choosing food items that are often compared to weenies, you know? Like, those wieners are wiener shaped, and so why are we using that to describe a finger? It's a tight fit, but you manage to wriggle yourself into the lift by nuzzling up to your hopefully future boss. You apologize profusely for the cramped conditions, but he just laughs it off. Oh my goodness. We want his hidden bratwurst apparently, because like what is this nuzzling up to your hopefully future boss? I can't handle this. Oh my goodness, no way. No way. Ah. No need to be embarrassed. Happens all the time. Are we gonna fuck our boss? Are we gonna fuck our boss in this game? Goodness. Oh, and no need to call for all this Mr. Burgard business either. First name basis is fine by me. Before the elevator door can snap shut, someone opens their mouth and screams.
Dune, Jacoda.
Oh, booyah! Wait! The angry-looking man you were worrying about suddenly drops to his knees, hands held together in prayer. Any aura of danger that once clung to him has been dispelled by his blubbering supplication.
Dune, Jacoda.
Sir, I'm begging you, just give me another chance. I swear I'll do anything. Unpaid overtime. I'll work on weekends. I'll kiss your goddamn shoes if I have to. Just please don't replace me. Mr. Burgard's only reply is a disappointed sigh. His bright, white smile wavers. Intangible contempt taints his otherwise welcoming tone. Emiliano, you've had more second chances than I can count, and displaying such undignified desperation in front of a candidate set to take over your position is not an endearing choice. Yeah, it's Obuya. It's Obuya. You're starting to think this game is for book talk women? I mean, maybe. This is crazy. Hold on. Okay, I see. Sorry, I had to look at something because a VTuber mutual messaged me, and I needed to make sure that, like, you know, it's all good and dandy, and it is all good and dandy. So that's all. Wait, no, that's not the right thing. There we are. Okay, wait, hold on. We're not back yet. God damn it. Your scuff goddess is always so scuffed, huh? Where did the app go? Okay. My phone's having some issues too. Oh, that felt good. That was a good. That was nice. Yeah, it kind of has 50 Grades of Shade vibes to it. Let me check like the store page real quick. I just see text-based interactive fiction, choose your own adventure. I don't see like anything about romance. Maybe it's not exactly beta testing anymore, actually. Just when I downloaded it, it said I accepted a key for a beta thing, because I'm seeing like a lot of like newer stuff, so that's okay. Like newer and older, what do you call them? Reviews. There we go. So what oh yeah, it's like a year old. That's interesting that they're doing a campaign like right now. I wonder why. Or maybe it was released in 2025 but got out of early access recently, I'm guessing. I'm seeing like a lot of good reviews. I didn't really look at the reviews. Somebody was like, I do not recommend because it's too text heavy, but it's like it's a text-based adventure game. Of course it's of course it's text heavy. It's a game that is centered around text. It's taking you on a literary journey of fun and corruption and madness. Alrighty. Frankly, there's nothing more I can or want to do for you beyond offering the standard company issued severance package. The once intimidating stranger collapses as though shot in the chest. His body ripples with hiccuping wails, his fists powerlessly pounding at the carpeted floor. Oh, that's right, it's glitching. Of course, of like all times, my computer decides to start having a little fit while I'm streaming. And it's doing that again. That's beautiful. Okay, there we go. They're away now. Just fixing this real quick. I hate when this happens, when it's like, oh, all of these issues are happening within like a very short amount of time. A very short amount of time, right? And it's gonna, get in the way of your stream and whatnot multiple times, and bleh. I'll go through that once more. The once intimidating stranger collapses as though shot in the chest. His body ripples with hiccuping wails, his fists powerlessly pounding at the carpeted floor. Your maybe future boss clicks his tongue, more disappointed than disturbed. He turns to give Mel a firm look and firmer orders. Miss Mel, please ensure our former staffer behaves until his offboarding is complete. Will you? I'll attend to him once I'm done with our guest. Rubuya thumbs. Oh, wait, hold on. The tired woman gives a nervous nod, rushing back to her typewriter as if nothing happened. The clacking keys are now punctuated by the tears of a grown man. Obuya thumbs a few buttons, and the elevator doors finally slide shut. Through cracks in the grillage gates, you see the receptionist giving you a small wave, mouthing a worrisome farewell. Good luck. Before you can decide whether she was cheering you on or trying to warn you, the floor lurches downwards. Chapter complete. Proceed to the interview. After descending a short way, the elevator slows to a crawl, then comes to a complete stop, groaning under the combined mass of its unevenly weighted passengers. For a moment, you worry the cables have jammed. Clearing his throat, Mr. Brigard reaches over your shoulder and points to the lift's control panel. Would you do me the honor of entering our meeting room's access password? If you're going to be working here, you may as well learn how to travel across the office. Just type in fancy S symbol, almost pi, a sickle, and Saturn, if you please. Oh, and no need to be too brusque about it. Precision matters more than speed with these old doodads. Cool S, almost pi, sickle, Saturn. The interviewer chuckles as he watches you fiddle with the eclectic symbols, amused by your apparent unfamiliarity. No doubt, he's used the employees entering these combinations with routine deafness of jaded shoppers typing in their PIN numbers during credit card transactions. You're still not sure why he's making you type the password in, nor why the elevator uses passwords in the first place. Wouldn't keycards be easier? Or normal numbers at least? Regardless, as the last button clicks into place, the elevator resumes its descent at an increased momentum, plunging deep into the earth with no sign of stopping. After almost 20 seconds, you wonder if it's headed for the planet's core. You'll have to beg my pardon for the sluggishness. I've petitioned to have this thing replaced, but the encryptology department refuses to let us invest in newer models. potential security risks, or so they claim. Boogeyman hogwash, I say. An upgrade has been long overdue. Maybe once our deal with Radium finally goes through, they'll be a bit more welcoming of true progress, eh? I'm telling you, it's hell. If people need to be hugged by him while in the elevator for balance, that sure seems to be the case. Hey, baby girl, let me teach you how to get into my secret room. So true, so true. You nod along politely, pretending to understand what he means. You're unsure the display looks convincing. Still, by the sounds of it, you'll be stuck here for a while. How do you kill time? Give those elevator buttons a closer look. Ask Abuya to explain his employee's unusual behavior. I'll give the buttons a closer look. Squinting at the control panel, you try making sense of the assorted icons decorating each key, trying to intuit the twisted logic linking them together. There must be some rationale informing the design of these peculiar passcodes. We've got a 3, we've got ohm, cool S, almost pi, a necklace, a hat, a fence post, the other kind of fancy 3, Saturn, 2 S's, sickle, triangle. And then we have the standard door close and door open. Unfortunately, the longer you look, the less you understand what the pi symbol in Greek, I guess it is supposed to be pi, and Greek omega have to do with any of those scribbles you've never seen before. The bout of mental gymnastics required to even attempt to draw a clear pattern leaves you with a nagging headache. At least, you can remember that the fancy S, pi, sickle, and Saturn password Abuya gave to you. In the end, they're so focused on decoding the secret behind the corporation buttons that you're startled by Burgard. I hope you're excited for this interview as I am. At the risk of sounding biased, I have very high expectations for you. The woman who recommended you for this position, your aunt, I believe, she had nothing but great things to say. She assured me you were an extremely positive person with a permanent can-do attitude and exceptional emotional resilience, and that's exactly the kind of person we need more of here at the corporation. You answer the giant's compliment with an awkward chuckle. Internally, however, you are screaming. You knew your aunt was bound to lie in order to guarantee you an interview, but she could have picked something more fitting for a clinically depressed shut-in who couldn't afford their own prescription. As you force yourself to smile through an impending panic attack, the elevator comes to a grinding halt. Its grillage door sliding open. Squeeze your way out of here. It's a bit of a battle to wriggle past Abuya, though you soon find yourself free of the claustrophobic lift and breathing a bit easier. Mr. Burgard follows suit, flipping a light switch to illuminate the otherwise pitch-black room. We were set up, yeah. Hopefully we get, like, the good life from this job, right? Welcome to my humble office. Ah, so that's what this place is. An office wouldn't have been your first guess. The rectangular space before you is reminiscent of an oversized police interrogation room. The walls are painted glossy black, glistening in the sepia glow of a low-hanging ceiling lamp. I think it's technically pronounced sepia, but I don't like that, so I've always said sepia. and if it weren't for the obvious two-way mirror in the back, the room would appear infinite in size, a boundless expanse of inky shadow extending in every direction. A single desk sits at the room's center, made of a block of carved mahogany. Mahogany. Coffee-stained paperwork covers its surface like some madman's wallpaper, and countless colored wires sprawl across the floor as though the varnished wood had somehow sprung electrical roots. Leather chairs fit to dwarf royal thrones loomed over both ends of the table, no doubt custom built to accommodate Mr. Burgard's colossal frame. The behemoth briskly motions for you to take a seat, but you sink so far into the plush leather, it feels more like the seat takes you. The seat takes you. This isn't Date Everything, right? I haven't played that game, but I have it. Prying yourself out of those comfortable depths, your eyes turn to the sparse assortment of unusual baubles decorating the table's corners. On this side, there's an antique candlestick phone whose mouthpiece is made to look like a large roosting bat. That's cool as fuck. On that side, there's an old-fashioned record player adorned with a godly gilded logo of the corporation. Right in front of you, there's a nameplate engraved with the words Obuya Burgard, Senior Substitution Department Supervisor. And scattered all over the place are piles of VHS cassettes, each labeled with tags written in Latin, Farsi, or ancient Greek. The item which perplexes you the most, however, is an old vinyl record snugly wrapped in yellow. Keep out tape. Mr. Burgard notes your interest with an amused arch of his brow. You wouldn't happen to be a fan of jazz, would you? You like jazz? I absolutely love jazz! Obuya's smile can grow no bigger, but it certainly shines brighter upon hearing your enthusiastic answer. Well then, I'm quite excited to find out what a fellow connoisseur will think of this particular gem. Carefully placing the confidential vinyl onto an old record player, Mr. Burgard lowers the needle and bids you to listen. A strange, somber soundscape slowly fills the office with a blues-inspired rhythm you can't quite compare to anything you've heard before. It's not appalling, per se, but it's perhaps a little messy and eerie enough to make you uncomfortable. The duet voices of a man and woman muttering warbled lyrics only adds to the strangeness. Farsi is new to you? You can't make out a word they're saying except for the chorus verse. Let's call the whole thing off. Gina and Herschel Gershwin, twins if you were wondering, not a couple despite all the turbulent rumors that once surrounded their odd relationship. I've never met them myself, but I do know they could have been bigger than the Beatles back in the band's heyday. The biggest case of my career was making sure they wouldn't be. And I always found it tragic that the only one of their records was left intact in the world. Though I also feel quite lucky to be the man who owns it. Few will ever have the privilege of hearing such avant-garde work. Let me put on my both heads of my headphone. I like it. I like it. I dig it. I dig it. And hello, welcome in over there. In your little box. Peeking out. You utter a few admirative oohs and ahs, feigning interest to conceal your perplexity. What does a human resource company have to do with ruining musicians' careers? And how could Obuya be employed, let alone alive, during the birth years of rock and roll? He's not that old, is he? Before you can scrutinize the man's non-existent wrinkles, he promptly clears the stray documents from his desks, making space for a repulsively familiar sheet of paper. Your loathsome fucking resume laid bare for the world to gawk at. God, you're sick of seeing that thing. Obuya interlaces his fingers, pale eyes darkening into a severe stare. You suddenly find yourself keenly aware of just how dangerous the man could be should he choose to embrace violence over verbal repartee. Time to begin our little interview. I'll be asking you a series of questions. Some will appear rather peculiar, others rather innocuous. They may be difficult to answer at times, as you've not been made fully aware of your position, nor of the corporation's company goals. However, I still request that you provide honest and instinctive responses, regardless of context, that'll give us a better idea of the role you'll be assigned during your time among us. Did he sell his soul for jazz? No, it's because he's a demon and he was, he had them on his casework, his caseload. Wait, you have to ace an interview before being told about the job you're applying for? What a mess. Either the corporation has an unintuitive hiring process, or their non-disclosure agreements are so incestuously interwoven, no one can get any work done without being strangled to death by red tape. Still, Obuya's words made one thing clear. The only way you'll get hired and earn a salary to pay the rent you owe is by acing this goddamn interview, no matter what it takes. Give a firm nod and reassure him you'll be earnest. Obuya chortles with satisfaction. The sounds as deep and rumbling as a rock slide at the bottom of a well. Wonderful. Let's get started. Question 1. A runaway locomotive is barreling down a set of railroad tracks at an uncontrollable speed. In its path lay 5 people, tied down and unable to move. If nothing is done, the locomotives will surely crush them and end their lives in an instant. You stand in a train yard next to a large lever. You know that if you pull it, the locomotive will divert its course into a separate track. However, this will cause it to crush a different person who is also tied down to this alternate path. How do you ensure all 6 people escape this tragedy alive? What do you mean the first question to this goddamn interview that I have to pass, I have to ace, is the goddamn trolley problem? Like what? What? Hey, 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 stop wigging out. Sorry, my body just had a moment of weirdness, but it's back online now. It's back on board. Well, that's not quite the where do you see yourself in 5 years shtick you're used to. How the hell are you supposed to respond? Assuming you can operate that lever, you might also know how to remotely trigger the emergency brakes. You run fast and have deft hands untie everyone before the train arrives. Dodge the question, by discussing other ethical conundrums and how they expose moral biases. I'm gonna run really fast. Assuming the 6 are close enough and that you'd hear the locomotive coming, you should have plenty of time. Is your confidence justified? Probably not. Are you qualified to save human lives? Not even a little. But is it still what you do in that situation? Absolutely. As you attempt to justify a couple methods by which you could still rescue these victims if they were bound in chains or needed to be carried safely, Mr. Burgard cuts you off with a hearty chuckle. Beg pardon, friend. I had no intention of mocking your gusta. Your gusto. Sorry. Oh, I can't see right now. I took off my glasses. I was like, your gusto? What the heck is that? Gusto makes significantly more sense, jeez. I simply admire your commitment to doing what must be done, even at a great personal cost. Working at this corporation inevitably means working with the lives of other human beings, the most precious resource on our planet. If our operatives cannot push themselves to their utmost limits to help them, as you would in this locomotive situation, how are we supposed to trust them with the well-being of our most valued clients? Furthermore, if you can back up those claims with actions, as your athletic proclivities seem to suggest, I suspect you'll have the stamina to endure upper management's most demanding delegated responsibility. Such energy and passion will be a great fit for this office. Oh no. As touched as you are by the compliment, you're mostly left wondering just how hard this company expects you to work. Their paychecks had better be worth whatever backbreaking labor they put you through. Your profile has changed. Physical faculty +2. Now, moving right along to question 2. Could you kindly rephrase your greatest flaw so that it sounds like your greatest strength? Amazing! Be advised, I do not want to hear any of that cowardly, I'm too much a perfectionist, or I'm a huge workaholic claptrap that most folks use to make themselves sound flawless. I want a proper, blameworthy weakness reconfigured into a proper, praiseworthy strength. Understood? The behemoth leans forward, and the room's darkness looms with him, both close in around you, like the walls of solitary confinement cell, or the rope of an eager hangman's noose. Better think of something good. You browse social media during work hours, but it keeps you updated on current events and tech trends. You spend too much time chatting with coworkers, but it helps you understand them and cooperate effectively. You often try solving problems with brawn, not brains, but you're in great shape, so it works out. That's pretty funny, but I'm gonna go with social media during work. Because I have a phone and internet addiction, so. The world is a volatile place, and not just politically. Advances in computing are constantly revolutionizing the way we interact as a species on a daily basis. But staying informed online allows you to adapt or even thrive despite those changes. It has nothing to do with the fact you have a mild internet addiction. Oh, that... They actually went after me. Thank you so much. Welcome to the fun times, and welcome to your break from the fun times. No, I'm joking. Thank you so much for coming and visiting the stream, and I hope to see you next time. See you, Jelly. Okay? A wonderful response, if I do say so myself. Too often do our underperforming employees fail to consider the context in which our clients are placed, or the negative consequences of a seemingly positive decision can have in the long term. A data-driven, future-facing perspective such as yours could prevent excess occurrences of such common issues. Furthermore, in light of our upcoming partnership with Radium, your familiarity with modern technology shall prove an invaluable asset for onboarding. For onboarding our, shall we say, older-fashioned staffers. No kidding. If he means the kind of staffers that work on typewriters instead of laptops, you practically need an on-call doctor to keep them from having heart attacks. Once you teach them touchscreens exist. Snickering under your breath, you prepare yourself to answer Mr. Burgard's following question. Technological literacy +2. Now then, onward to our final inquiry. Regarding to your schooling, I would like for you to... Well, if you could just explain the... Goodness, how do I phrase this delicately? The behemoth's words trail into muttered mumbles, his velvet thunder voice degrading into something more akin to a bumblebee stuck in a big dog's mouth. His big blue eyes dart between you and the paper's underwhelming bullet points with increasingly disgusted concern, as though finally noticing what kind of unemployable aberration has stepped into this building. It's an unfortunately common reaction to anyone who reads your CV. The singers on the record player shout a loud suggestion to just call the whole thing off. Their advice for better or worse goes unheeded. Well, at the risk of sounding insensitive, I'd truly appreciate some insight regarding your academic background. How do you believe a workplace of our nature could benefit from hiring someone with such a dubiously incompatible education? You begin to sweat bullets. Big bullets. The kind of caliber robot cops must use in action movies from the 80s. Of course, it was going to come down to this. No matter how dearly you wished it were possible, you can't magically go back in time and study something more prestigious for today's job market. But you might be able to describe your weird diploma in a way that makes a strikingly employable impression. You studied computer science. You're skilled with technologies old and new. You studied Ultimate Frisbee, the apex of education for any teamwork-loving athletic superstar. You studied child psychology. You're good at reading people and creating emotional reports. I know this is like giving me like a balanced profile, but I just don't know what's gonna happen otherwise. You're unsure of what kind of services the corporation really offers, but there's no doubt social sciences could come in handy with human resources. By honing your communication skills and providing extra insight into Purple's personality quirks, your schooling should prove useful in dealing with clients and coworkers. You discuss some of the intricacies of your most memorable seminars, specifically those concerning mental development and lingering infant trauma known to emerge decades later. Examples of how early experiences inform otherwise incoherent attitudes among grown adults. Mr. Burgard's concern mellows into curiosity with every passing explanation. Then, as your story concludes, he regards you with outright admiration. I cannot even begin to explain how often our corporation's representatives fail to consider the significance of formative experiences when it comes to mapping out an individual's psyche. Childhood memories are often overlooked, yet integral in determining the root cause of a client's wants, fears, or failings. And in our most extreme cases, identifying the root causes is utterly essential to succeed. The fact you have such a thoughtful and informed perspective before starting your first day, no less, is truly, truly incredible. Correcting human behavior is a complicated, multi-layered process, but your pre-existing awareness of that fact will be a major asset. His flattery sends swarms of butterflies fluttering about your stomach. It's been a while since you've last received such a compliment, let alone felt actual pride in yourself. as opposed to the usual undercurrent of exhausted shame. Ironically, a therapist probably would have questions for you about that.
Notice amini.
Your social aptitude is +2. Anywho, I believe that concludes our questionnaire for today. As for your results, the man's enormous fingers crumple your CV into a ball and toss it aside. It bounces across the wire-laden floor, disappearing into an inky corner of the abyssal room. Your chest tightens, panic swells, catastrophic scenarios and thoughts of crushing failure explode through your head. Obuya's beaming smile diffuses them all.
Yawona
To
kimo.
tell you the truth, this little meeting of ours was nothing more than a corporate mandated formality. Between your aunt's glowing recommendation and the fact you showed up to our offices on such short notice, I knew from the very start that I'd be wanting you on board. After this discussion, I'm pleased to announce that my hunch has been confirmed and that I am most pleased to be extending you a permanent employment offer. He's clearly mocking you. You pinch yourself and awaken from this embarrassing dream. Hang on, you actually want to hire me? Like, are you sure? Are you positive? Like you read my CV. You looked at the same resume that I previously wrote that I know for a fact is trash. And yet, despite all of that, you're still willing to give me, Zell, the chronically depressed girl failure with a room full of mold, rotting food, styrofoam, clothes cluttered about, a chance, and no less, a permanent chance at employment here at the corporation. Absolutely wonderful. I could not be happier. You've never been this close to getting employed in ages. You almost expect the man to reveal it was all a cruel prank this whole time. Instead, Mr. Burgard chuckles, amused by your aghast reaction.
Notice amini.
I'm dead serious, friend. In fact, you didn't just meet expectations, you exceeded them.
Yawona kimo.
Our exchange has revealed that you're an individual of incredibly diverse talents, polyvalent in terms of interests and accomplishments. You're quick to adapt your methods according to the issue at hand and able to find a path to success in almost any circumstance. In a diverse, multidisciplinary workplace like ours, such a skill is not only enviable, it's downright essential. Stretch, stretch. It may be true that certain challenges will require a greater degree of specialization, or that a jack of all trades is forever cursed to be a master of none, but I believe the sheer amount of options at your disposal should be enough to overcome most obstacles.
Ajubonica.
So, would you deem my interpretation of your aptitude accurate, or have I misconstrued the content of your character? You're 100% on point. That's exactly how I want to be. Flattered by Obuya's appraisal, you relish in the satisfaction of having been truly seen. It's not every day you get such a precise, quantifiable breakdown of your unique abilities. May they serve you well in tackling the horrors to come.
Tome baden.
Good to know. Very good indeed. In that case, I'll nudge administration to start producing your contract. I'll unfortunately have to remain cagey about some details, such as workplace tasks or starting salary, until all the legal hoopla has been sorted. But assuming you care to accept a generous starting offer, Mr. Burgard's chuckling deepens as he extends a hand. His blue eyes are bright with joy, his tongue hungrily running over his pure white teeth. There they go again. There they go again with such a creative imagery.
Ajubonica.
Please allow me to informally welcome you as the newest member of our corporation. I look forward to reviewing your performance. Holy shit, it's actually happening. You're going to have a job. You're going to have money. Enough of it to pay rent. Keep a roof over your head. Eat food. Anything. Fight the urge to cry and shake Mr. Brigard's hands. Let a few tears flow and tell him just how grateful you are. We're gonna fight the urge to cry. No, we're too proud for that. You cannot help but sniffle as you extend your hands, eyesight blurred by tears of sheer relief. Yet even though that weeping haze, you can still see the behemoth's grin spreading like a bird's unfurling wings. More specifically, those of a rapacious buzzard, diving in to snatch a rodent with razor-sharp talons. Oh, the foreshadowing. Instincts urge you to pull away, but the behemoth's pounce comes too quickly. Before you can possibly react, your entire hand is engulfed within a fist the size of a ripe cantaloupe. Almost instantly, something begins feeling terribly wrong. Despite Mr. Brigard's pure white smile, it feels as though your new boss is trying to leave you crippled from the wrist down. But all that pain is nothing next to the sharp, stabbing agony suddenly shooting through your palm. You cry out in pain, beg Brigard to let go, fight to pry your fingers free, but the giant's grip is iron and deaf to your complaints. If anything, he squeezes harder. Your jaw unhinges to let out a scream. Before a sound comes, though, Mr. Brigard lets you go with an innocent-sounding oops.
Kudo Mijaji.
Dearie me, I was a tad too firm there, wasn't I? Beg pardon, friend. I tend to forget my own strength sometimes. The tweed behemoth lets out an earnestly apologetic chuckle. You force yourself to chuckle back, but the laughter takes tremendous effort. It's hard to buy his excuse, no matter how believable it may be. Panic, you palpitate your palm in numbed fingers, searching for any scars left by the thing that was drilling through your flesh. But there is no wound, no torn skin, no deep cuts, not even mild bruising. You don't even feel the pain anymore. All you find is a single bead of bright red blood, no bigger than a pinhead. It's a blood contract. You wipe it away, frantically seeking what lurks beneath. It is warm to the touch and leaves a scarlet smear across your skin, like a painter's brush. Yet there's no sign from where the paint came from. No wound, no scar. There could be some swelling, but it's faint enough to make you suspect the bulge isn't really there. Maybe, just maybe, it was all in your head. If there's no wound, is this someone else's blood? Investigate that swelling, no matter how paranoid it may be. It's probably just somebody else's blood, right? You risk a furtive glance at the behemoth's hand, hoping to find a clue on his skin. Before you're sure you spotted something, a clatter interrupts you. From one of his desk's drawers, Mr. Brigard withdraws a slab of metal the size of a stovetop. At first, you assume it's a tablet device, custom-built to fit the tweed giant's fingers and resist their vice-like strength, or perhaps a turntable meant for an aspiring DJ, painted in drab colors. A closer look reveals something older and chunkier, made of gray aluminum and solid beige plastics. Blinking buttons, flickable switches, knobs, and sliders of all kinds decorate its crowded surface with a cluttered interface too complex to grasp at a glance. Despite your fondness for outdated tech, you cannot tell what kind of machine this is, nor what purpose it is meant to serve. Your best guess is an old movie prop, stolen from the set of a sci-fi film in the 1950s, and not necessarily a good sci-fi film. Mr. Brigard bends over to grab heaping handfuls of wires off the messy floor. Seemingly at random, he sorts through dozens of them at the time, plugging only a paltry few into his device's outlets.
Come baden.
Now that the pleasantries are finally done with, I suggest we proceed to the evaluation portion of our exchange. Aha! You were wondering when you'd be getting to that part. The behemoth appears taken aback by your expectant nod, but is even more surprised by the nervousness your lousy poker face can't conceal. Though you are told to expect a test, you are also warned to be wary, and you're not particularly excited to find out what the machine has to do with it.
Ajubonica.
Come now, no need to be so agitated. I've already agreed to hire you. It's not like I'll be terminating your employment before your first probationary milestone.
Kudo bijaji.
The format of this evaluation will be similar to our open-ended interview questionnaire, but this time I'll be presenting intentionally confusing scenarios that most corporate employees might encounter during their day-to-day tasks. Your goal is to present solutions to any particular problem as you deem appropriate, regardless of how unconventional the suggestion may seem. Yet again, there are no wrong answers, but I will tally your responses to determine how much supervision you'll require during onboarding.
Come baden.
In other words, I once more encourage honesty over making a good impression, for both our sakes. The behemoth flickers a larger switch upon his instrument's dashboard. A low, droning, palpable hum fills the shadowy room. The light bulb hanging over you flickers, then goes dark, bathing the already dim room in nigh absolute blackness. Only the device's glowing buttons, reflected in the two-way mirror, provide you with any light.
Kudo bijaji.
Shall we get started? Let's call the whole thing off. The record player begs you, over and over again. It seems to be stuck in place, and skipping a few beats. Unfortunately, your body is also stuck in place, petrified in your plush chair, and your heart is skipping a few beats more. You give your sore hand a tight squeeze, and hope the throbbing will soon stop. Brace yourself and agree to begin. Ask him for more information, no matter how limited. Nope, we're just gonna go do it. We're courageous. Mr. Brigard chuckles, his teeth so white they almost glow in the dark. You hear him whisper a single word with a deep, bassy growl. Perfect. Your new boss's bratwurst thick fingers push one of the machine's sliders to its absolute limit. The room's bassy hum increases in pitch and frequency.
Notice amini.
I'll start you off with an easy one. Let's say, hypothetically, that you're supervising a group of employees from a different company. They hired you to isolate the source of their decreased productivity, then remedy the issue. And it does not take long for you to identify the problem. One of their staff members is extremely troublesome. The giant pauses, uttering a tisk of irritation. It seems he wasn't supposed to specify the mystery employee's gender. When he speaks again, he enunciates slowly with more careful consideration.
Bonekaye.
This hypothetical individual has an undeniably inadequate productivity level. They never meet bare minimum expectations, they lack punctuality, disrespect their colleagues, browse unsavory websites with company property, instead of dedicated their limited work hours to completing overdue, urgent paperwork. Their misconduct is continuous and condemnable. I think so, yes. I believe we're condemning his fate. We're condemning him to torture. Your head hurts? I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope your headache is alleviated soon.
Kudo bijaji.
The employee has been given multiple warnings and provided with opportunities to improve their performance. Both have failed or been ignored. The client is contemplating firing the problematic worker, but are concerned that becoming understaffed during an especially critical moment of the fiscal quarter could jeopardize the important deadlines. What do you think should be done to re-establish the client's baseline productivity? It took you so long to find a job. Firing someone would make you sick. Give them one more chance. This person should be laid off regardless of deadlines. They harm more than they help. Talk with this person to understand the root of their poor behavior. Install software on their computer that limits access to non-work websites. I think, yeah, the technological literacy would do best here. If the employee is just compulsively texting and web surfing, why not cut the problem off at the source? Most office networks limit access to undesirable content nowadays, so it can't be that hard to set up. Plus, it'll prevent future staffers from indulging the same habit. Though your internet-based solution might be complicated to implement in a workspace that relies on refurbished typewriters, Obuya's blue eyes bulge with admiration, his lips curling into epiphanic. Ooh, because that's supposed to be like epiphany or something, right? Or am I crazy? I don't know. I don't know. This is exactly why I keep telling upper management we need fresh thinkers in the office. The perspectives you bring to the table aren't limited by your old hat ideologies. They are much more in tune with our planet's current digital landscape. That's why the upcoming deal with Radium Inc. won't just improve our technical infrastructure, it'll prove our technical literacy and technical imagination. Furthermore, I love that the core of your strategy essentially relies on imposing discipline through ignorance and obfuscation, which are techniques the corporation values dearly. After all, how can slaves ever think to disobey if they were only allowed to learn obedience? Did you slip up a word in there, sir? I thought these were employees, not slaves. You're not sure you enjoy that comparison. Yet, as if emphasizing his point, the giant fiddles with his antique device's myriad of buttons and knobs in a series of complex operations. Obuya completes his complex mechanical operation with a flourish of flashing lights and a sequence of high-pitched beeping. The machine's noises are loud but not startling. Not compared to the other sound. It's faint at first, muffled, maybe distant, subtle enough to make you wonder if it's part of the record player's tune. But the longer you listen, the more unmistakable it becomes. Someone somewhere is screaming. Your nails dig into the armrests of your overlarge leather seat. Your eyes dart about the room, searching for the noise's source, before landing on a two-way mirror and your own aghast reflection. It's coming from across the glass. You hold your breath and wait for the scream to rise up again. But there's only the record player's music and the white noise buzz of Brigard's machine as he you back into attention. If you're in need of a restroom, I can point you in the right direction. Otherwise, I'd ask you to please complete the evaluation with a smidge less fidgeting. It negatively impacts our tool's acoustics, you see. It's like he didn't even hear it. Was a scream inside your head? Just like the pain in your hand from before? Or maybe... Massage your bloodstained palm and pretend nothing happened. Yeah, we can ignore it. You hold your tongue, unwilling to disrupt the tool's acoustics any further. Besides, strange things have been happening ever since you've set foot in this building, and everyone's been acting like it's completely normal. There's probably nothing wrong. Right? Obuya flips another switch. The room's buzzing shifts into a frequency so oddly low, you feel it sending ripples through your organs. The giant gestures your way with steepled fingers, further disturbing your unsettled guts.
Ajobonica.
Now, let's say, still, hypothetically speaking, that our problem employee has more specific shortcomings. He is utterly unwilling to cooperate with one of his coworkers. Perhaps it's a matter of long-standing interpersonal friction originating from external sources. Maybe there's an unreconcilable difference between them in terms of moral, political, or religious beliefs.
Yawona Kimo.
Regardless of the exact circumstances, our floundering staffer has proven themselves incapable of playing nice with their high-performing teammate. This has resulted in a severe decline in both their productivity levels. Knowing we cannot relocate the problem employee to a new department, nor displace their high-performing partner, how do we ensure the former collaborates with the latter despite the deeply rooted discord between them? Dang, no ultimate frisbee. Success should be rewarded and failure punished. Fire the problem employee. High performance doesn't prove innocence. Maybe the bad employee is being sabotaged. Oh. That's actually a really good point. It's not uncommon for higher ranking staffers to throw colleagues under the bus just to make themselves look good, and neither status nor seniority can excuse cruel behavior. It would be irresponsible to leap to the productive employee's defense before investigating impartially. You puff out your chest, proud of your well-worded statement and firm commitment to ethical justice. That pride instantly waves when Obuya begins sneering. His smile narrows into a condescending slit as he adjusts his machine specs.
Imao Hone.
You poor, naive little thing. Before you assume me to be heartless, let it be understood that I agree with your thesis. The scenario you speak of is not uncommon, especially in this workplace. But to be completely frank, my chief concern is the autos productivity levels, not the mental well-being of a consistently inept employee. Therefore, even if a staffer is behaving problematically, I'm willing to overlook minor offenses so long as they can meet a deadline. As for their negligence effects, well, that part is rather unfortunate, yes, but we have ways of making them forget anything untoward happened in the first place. Before you can ask the interview what the hell he means, another sound reaches your ears. It's not a person scream this time, but neither is it a vinyl's tune, nor a machine's hum. Rather, it resembles a dull, wet, rhythmic thud. Once, twice, thrice you hear it, a little louder every time. You find it staring back at you, across the two-way mirror, begging to be let out. Oh, sorry. You see the handprint of a blood-stained palm slapping against the looking glass, begging to be let out. This means I chose a bad answer. Your mouth goes dry as it hangs open. Your fingers shake as you start to point. Then, without a word of warning, the thudding suddenly stops. All that remains is silence and a message written in scarlet smears, a cry for help no one can answer. Obuya looks over his shoulder, seeing the red stain. You wait for him to react, to gasp, or even scream. All he does is harumph at it, annoyed. I really need to put more pressure on that janitor. The soundproofing in here has been unacceptable as of late. With more grouchy grumbling, he tweaks a couple of his device's knobs as if nothing happened. Then, noticing your aghast expression, he furrows his brow, not with concern, but confusion. Is something the matter? Shake your head. You must be hallucinating. You wipe the sweat from your brow and try to control your breathing. You tell Mr. Burgard it must be the air down here making you lightheaded. It feels like you keep seeing things, but none of this can be real. It can't be real.
Gawona kimo.
Wonderful. I'm thrilled you're willing to be so cooperative despite these distractions. Now, regarding the conclusion of our conjectural conundrum,
No bijaji.
let's say, and I cannot stress this enough, that our aforementioned staffer is hypothetically assigned to contain a major data breach, one with the consequences that could spell disaster for their company and coworkers alike. The sensitive nature of this task requires them to exterminate or indefinitely debilitate any individuals who have witnessed this leaked information, so that they become incapable of further dissemination. In this case, the information has only been accessed by two people, the employee's spouse and their prepubescent offspring. They're gonna ask me if it's morally okay to kill a spouse and child.
Notice amini.
Needless to say, our employee is reluctant to perform their duty and exterminate these individuals. However, if either family member remains alive, the company stands to lose everything. Furthermore, should they refuse to tie up these proverbial loose ends, you will be required to do so in their place, as outlined in your company contract. In short, how do you ensure these targets perish as intended and that this data breach remains contained regardless of this problematic employee's hesitation? If it really is a matter of life and death, you'd kill those people yourself. We clearly have to be rotten. We clearly have to be rotten. The human body is a fragile thing. All it takes to break one is a perfectly mundane accident, choking on food, tripping at an awkward angle, a well-placed blade or needle in an undesirable area. You, meanwhile, are stronger than average, strong enough to make such accidents happen with relative ease. Your stomach audibly churns as you visualize ending a child's life in an increasingly vivid... I forgot there was a child involved, not gonna lie. Mr. Burgard, meanwhile, guffaws with approval, his machine purring like a pleased tiger as he flicks its myriad switches.
Notice amini.
As much as I approved of your commitment to getting the job done, I can assure you it's unlikely for such measures to become necessary, unless you absolutely want to get hands-on, that is. We prefer to rely on our in-house exterminators whenever possible, less margin for error and all that. Plus, if we're going to build those exterminators for dirty work, we may as well give them some, especially when they're much more efficient at it than you'll ever be, no matter how impressive your physical health is. Is that what the fired employee is going to turn into an exterminator? Before you can ask the giant if he plans to send those exterminators after you, his strange device suddenly starts moaning, its monitor finally displaying your evaluation's tallied results.
Ajobonica.
Well, this is genuinely impressive. I had high hopes for you, but this exceeds even those anticipations by considerable leaps and bounds. Most of our employees need months, if not years, of training to properly optimize our procedures before foregoing all ethical concerns. For you to demonstrate such dedication to efficiency without need for orienteering, that tells me you're destined to accomplish great, terrible things at this company. Why, I barely had to make adjustments to your doppelganger engineering suggestions. Doppelganger? Unfazed by your panic or your bafflement, Mr. Brigade reaches for a nearby candlestick phone. The mouthpiece's realistically macabre roosting bat design makes it seem like he's clutching a live pipistrelle and shoving it against the cavern that is his giant mouth.
Notice amini.
We're done here. You can show them now. On the other end of the line, a reply is chirped. Ubui hands you the phone and motions you to listen in. His pure white smile looks wide enough to tear his cheek at the seams. Except the phone. You gingerly seize the occult antique. It takes you a few tries to grasp how the winged mammal is meant to be held, and even longer to hold the earpiece at your head. By the time you figured it out, you wish that you hadn't. The two-way glass at the back suddenly turns transparent, revealing yet another room filled with aesthetic contradictions and logical anomalies. Your first urge is to scream, but your voice makes no sound. Perhaps your cries are deafened by whatever the fuck is going on. By the time you stand before what seems to be a hospital operating room. Its walls are adorned with a mix of dark wood panels and mounted stag heads, bathed in the sterile glow of circular fluorescent lamps. At the far back, you see the silhouettes of two surgeons toiling away behind a curtain, carving apart the skulls of their fully conscious, unsedated patients. You want to look away, but you can't even blink. There's just too much to take in. Excuse me. There's the patients themselves. They almost look like twins. Both have been tied down with their belts to their respective surgical tables. Both are men with tan skin, furrowed brows, and bloodshot stares. Both have the tops of their heads partially concealed by curtains, where the surgeon's silhouettes prod their scalps with forceps. Only one of them is screaming, as though death would be a mercy. Are they switching brains? There's the surgeon's tools. Blood-stained aprons hang from wooden coat racks, while stainless steel surgical trays contain an assortment of gruesome devices: bone saws, hand cranks, drills, and strangely hairy, bone-white bowls glistening with dark red. Your stomach gurgles upon realize they are sliced off tops of human skulls. Well, boxy Technicolor. There's the televisions hanging from the ceiling. Boxy Technicolor units have been suspended above each patient's head. Their crackling screens blast them with an unrelenting montage of childhood videotape footage, warbled ECG readouts, brain scans, and news network broadcasts. Each man's eyelids are held open by metallic speculums, denying them the privilege of looking away. Oh, this is like some A Clockwork Orange shit. And there's the woman taking notes. She stands with her back to you, jotting down observations on a clipboard as she studies each victim's distinct reactions. Though her shoulders are shaking, she writes with a steady hand. The muffled sounds of saws slicing through bone threaten to make you throw up. But instead, you feel your heart sink deep into that pit of nausea and realize something truly chilling. You recognize two of the people in that room. Look more closely at the clipboard-wielding lady. It's either the receptionist or the aunt. Sensing your stare through the glass, the woman turns around. Details leap out one at a time, making the pit in your stomach sink deeper. A black turtleneck, a hair bun, a tight smile, spread too wide, exhausted eyes, bulging and bloodshot pupils, shrunk to tiny pinpricks. No. After Emiliano attacked you, you believed the man was insane, but now watching that receptionist smile without blinking, tears brimming in her eyes and bloodstains wetting her clothes, Emilio's mental breakdown makes more sense to you than ever. As if to prove your point, the loudest of the two patients screams at you for help. You, please, tell them to change. Tell them I'll do better. Just don't let them replace me. Mel, I'm begging you. You can't do this to me. I have a family. His words are cut off by gurgling spasms, eyes rolling into their sockets as the surgeon's silhouette behind him cuts something inside his head. Blood and brain matter splatters the curtain, hiding the worst of the scene. But sounds of squelching meat and bones still carry over the receiver. Yet it's the other, calmer patient's voice that truly makes you nauseous. He doesn't just look like Emiliano. He sounds like him. Exactly like him. You, please, tell him I'll change. Tell them I'll do better. Just don't let them replace me. The lookalike's face remains impassive, even as his exposed brain is prodded at with a hand-cranked drill, yet the imitation of his neighbor's blood-curdling cries is perfect. Every nuance, every pause for breath, reenacted down to the finest detail. Better than any audio recording you could ever imagine. More immaculate than a simulacra. Than any man or machine should ever be capable of. It's so perfect, in fact, that you're no longer certain which is the real Emiliano. Hey Mel, how was that? Am I laying the accent on too thick? Seems fine to me, but I'd recommend letting your voice crack once in a while. It's been known to happen when Emiliano is feeling heavily inebriated, and considering his drinking disposition, that particular nuance will come up quite frequently. Got it, I'll give it another go. Hey pal, can you give me some fresh material to rehearse? You're all a bunch of psychos. Motherfucking heartless psychos. Emiliano sobs and howls himself raw, retching as the surgeon hacking his cerebellum. Fuck. I can't pronounce, like, one of the simplest brain terms. Cerebellum induces full body spasms. The other Emiliano merely clears his throat before howling much the same. You're all a bunch of psychos, motherfucking heartless psychos. How about that? Bit better? Considerably. I'll notify the post-op technicians to implant a few more speech impediment-inducing memories and apply brain damage relative to Emiliano's alcoholism. That should iron out the last neurophysical kinks. The other Emiliano gives a firm thumbs up, leaning back to enjoy his lobotomy with the lackadaisy indulgence of an expert barber scalp massage. Mel turns to face the glass, her wide smile pulled painfully taut. She looks at you with tears and mascara streaking down her face, her grin seems to cause more pain than either patient's cerebral surgery. Well, is there anything else you needed, Mr. Burgard? No, thank you, dear. That'll be all. Just wanted to get our new hire to get a better idea of the daily grind. Oh, but do let me know if we need to make adjustments to mediatic nutrition. Will you? I'll be on standby. I'm so sorry. I'm getting really hot. I need to get a quick snack too. I'm sorry. I'll be back. I think it's too hot. I need to do something. I am so sorry about that. I don't know. I just I don't know. It was like a mini anxiety attack. Like a random one too. Like the honestly, I don't even know what happened. But excuse me, it was a little hot in here. So I feel like maybe it was partially the heat. It was a bit strange though. Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of strange, but oh, hello. Welcome in, Vin. Welcome, 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 welcome. How are you? Yes, mostly. Mostly. I had something happen. I don't know what it was. It was weird. I'll talk to you about it later. I'll talk about it later with you because it's just weird. Anyway, I do want to get back to the game because it's been fun. So let's get back to it. No, thank you, dear. That'll be all. Just wanted our new hire to get a better idea of the daily grind. Oh, but do let me know if we need to make adjustments to mediatic nutrition. Will you? I'll be on standby. Well, I'm trying not to die in this game. Apparently, we're in the business of doing torture. We might be in hell, so. With a curt nod, the receptionist turns her back. You hear a click, then a dial tone, and the phone's ceaseless screaming abruptly cuts off. Across the glass, Emiliano thrashes with all his might. The sound of his screeching muted once again.
Notice Amini.
So, what do you think? Pretend to be calm and curious so you can figure out what the hell is happening. Thank God I specialized in that. You've studied childhood trauma long enough to know explosive reactions incite abusers to commit further violence. Even though it almost kills you, you keep your voice as steady as possible, expressing mild surprise and even milder confusion about the absolute nightmare unfurling before you. Ooh. Ooh, my ear. Ooh. Ugh. Oh. Oh. There we go. Oh, I didn't turn off my screen music. Sorry about that. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Mr. Brigard looks pleased, as punched by your polite interest. A seismic laughter creeps up his cavernous throat as he gestures to the two Emilianos.
Notice Amini.
I'm glad you're coming to this with an open mind. Most recruits get surprisingly antsy when we get to this stage of our proceedings. What you see here is the most common and most heavily patented human resource service our corporation provides. We replace troublesome members of society with specially trained, lab-raised actors that will live more efficient lives in our target's place. Oh, that's what our Aunt Mead by he'll think he needs to fix us. Well, I'm glad he doesn't think he needs to fix us.
Gawona Kimo.
And what's more, we've performed today's processes all according to your specifications. Your specifications had nothing to do with this. Unperturbed by your protests, Brigard motions to the silhouetted surgeons currently picking up both Emiliano's wet and naked craniums.
Home Baden.
First, as standard procedure, we have our doppelgangers undergo extensive surgeries. This ensures their size and appearance matches their target. However, we also perform highly precise neural excisions and hormonal dosing sessions to ensure both replacement and replacee have identical synaptic pathways. This means they'll share the same tastes, reflexes, and handicaps wherever applicable.
Gawona Kimo.
Furthermore, as per your suggestion, I've encouraged our surgeons to physically excise all sections of the brain unrelated to workplace performance. Oh. I'm not entirely sure if that's how those so-called firewalls are supposed to work for computers, but either way, our doppelganger should only know obedience and thus never disobey. Ah. After completing his bleak announcement with a showman's tone, the giant points to the device on his desk. Its myriad cables run along the floor and worm their way through the slits in the two-way glass, connecting to the flashing televisions hanging above the patients' faces. Next, we bombarded our subjects with doctored historical information and falsified childhood memory footage to rewrite their lived experiences. This will erase problematic attitudes and induce more desirable proclivities. As you can tell, the process is rather unpleasant for the original Emiliano, who is experiencing the unraveling of his own identity in real time. But remember, his suffering is inconsequential next to the heightened performance of his superior colleague. Besides, if done right, neither Emiliano will even remember this. With an emphatic flourish, Obuya tweaks another one of his machine's many knobs. A television screen flickers, replacing its gruesome slideshow of warfare footage with pictures of pastoral farm. The louder Emiliano squirms, then screeches. Finally, the tweed behemoth nods to Mel, whose eyes glance between both her patients, taking notes whenever one of them imitates the other. The two are becoming increasingly impossible to tell apart. Lastly, but not least, Mel arguably has the most important task of all, quality assurance. You see, our procedure is human, not mechanical. Instinct trumps algorithm when it comes to understanding people. Thus, it's imperative for staffers with an eye for social cues to study the effects of non-sedated lobotomies, particularly during back-and-forth exchanges between target and replacement. This allows us to adjust mediatic nutrition quickly and to identify overlooked flaws in body language, voice modulation, or personality. All this ensures our doppelgangers perform their jobs correctly. Which is why I've also taken inspiration from your commitment to sorting out this whole family murdering business. Mel has been encouraged to wipe out any trace of bloodshed-related hesitation we'd normally keep vestigial remnants of. I assumed this to be appropriate, since your answer implied corporate results matter more than human lives. Oops. Did I do that? Holy shit. He wasn't lying. You may not have pulled the trigger, but you did help him load the gun. As he reeled from the weight of revelation, Obuya holds up 3 fingers. One by one, he curls them down. Physical rewiring, psychological reconditioning, social reintegration. These are the pillars in which our corporation substitution services are built. This is how we guarantee that the tens of thousands of doppelgangers currently deployed to the public perform exactly as they must. It's how our company has controlled the course of human civilization for years upon years, steering it in whatever direction our executives deem right. It's how the right people have shown up at the right times and the right places, how the wrong items or ideas have never appeared at inopportune occasions, and it's how you will help us do our job, regardless of which department you are ultimately assigned to. I bet that our boss is the doppelganger of himself. So are there any further questions about your new job's responsibilities? No. Questions? Screw you. You won't get away with this. Why the hell is this why the hell is this corporation doing this to people? Why didn't my aunt tell me about this? The only logical explanation is that she didn't know this kind of insanity was occurring at her workplace. After all, the woman can definitely be a little heartless, but she wouldn't stoop to getting you a job torturing people just to get her rent money. Would she?
Kudo Mijaji.
Oh, I'm afraid your aunt was very aware of the procedures we conduct here. She's undergone one herself, after all. It's part of what makes her such an exceptional recruiter. But please, don't resent her for keeping so much sensitive information confidential. To borrow an expression, we have many fingers shoved quite deep into a surprising amount of pies. Yes, that is one way to put it. It's one way to put it. The tweed behemoth spreads his arms, taking up a dramatic stance. His muscular limbs cast a vast, all-consuming shadow, much like the one his company must cast over the world.
Gawona Kimo.
Societies, you see, are merely sets of rules meant to control select populaces enforced by means of moral codes and legislative threats. Histories are naught but narratives parading as objective fact, deterministically controlling future by redefining the past. Economies are broad equations engineered to establish hierarchies and restrict freedoms indirectly. Our missive is to alter the evolution of all these entities everywhere in the world for the betterment of our species. This can mean overturning governments with silent revolutions, establishing or destroying businesses to reroute the flow of wealth, even altering history in ways that force us to reinterpret the present.
Gawona Kimo.
All the world's a stage, men and women merely players. But this corporation is the playwright casting every actor's role. Today, your role has been decided too. And if you care to keep a roof over your head, you should refrain from delivering a disappointing performance. The giant's index finger prods your chest as he speaks. Each tap is like a bullet thudding against a Kevlar vest. Across the mirror, Emiliano screams as though he felt those gunshots too. His cries an ode to the dark future which awaits you. A future of perpetual, inescapable servitude. Abu is right. You need money. Agree to work here until you've saved enough to quit. The thought of helping these monsters makes you sick, but turning down the offer means you'll end up on the street. Thus, you promise Bergard to work hard and do better than Emiliano. For now.
Note Samini.
Wonderful. But be advised, you'll need to perform very well for a very long time if you intend your time with us to be temporary. After all, we've already signed our first contract, and its strictest clauses do not expire any time soon. The man's pale eyes drift toward your hand, the one he shook you that you thought was bleeding. Looking into your palm, you realize the hunch was fully justified because something did pierce it. There's a lump beneath the skin, a small, subtle, rectangular protrusion you hadn't noticed until now. Probably because it wasn't flashing, let alone making such an obnoxious sound.
Tome Bad.
This, my friend, is what we refer to as a non-disclosure microchip, a brand new addition to our confidentiality policy specially designed by our future partners at Radium Inc. It serves as an ID to access our offices, but also as an employee loyalty failsafe. Should you ever admit brain activity associated with treason, unauthorized divulsion of confidential data, or any such nasty business, the chip will emit a warning signal. Should the warning go unheeded, a lethal dose of Parodium-210 will be discharged, a nigh untraceable radiotoxic isotope capable of inducing total organ shutdown within seconds.
Gawona Kimo.
In other words, lest you care to experience a particularly messy demise, I suggest you remain on your best behavior until you die of natural causes. That's heavy. You have acquired non-disclosure microchip. The microchip starts beeping faster till it matches the demented tempo of your beating heart. No telling which of the two is about to explode first. The signal is interrupted by Mr. Burgard's tisk-tisking as he checks his belt-sized watch.
Tome baden.
Dearie me, seems I lost track of time. Other appointments beckon. I'm afraid our meeting is at an end. You'd best return home and get plenty of rest. You'll be needing it for onboarding.
Kudo mi jaji.
Oh, and please don't consider suicide as a solution to prematurely terminate your employment. I'm well aware of your unfortunate mental health diagnosis, but I'd be ever so unhappy to see such a predictable scenario come to pass, especially since we'd just be wasting time replacing you with a doppelganger or otherwise. I recommend you try enjoying this if you can. Your moral crisis and panic attacks should be like water running off of the proverbial duck's back. Booyah chuckles, an elevator door screeches open behind you. The open shaft greets you like the gaping maw of a deep-sea fish. You glance between the open door and your manager, wondering if it's really safe to leave. But by the time the behemoth gives you a cheeky wink, you're already making a run for it. Your fingers mash every single button of the keypad's confusing display, hoping for some combination of keys will get you far away as possible. Eventually, the grillage gate slams shut, the floor lurches upward, and Mr. Burgard waves goodbye, speaking the most chilling words you've heard all day.
Gawona kimo.
See you tomorrow. Your microchip's alarm slows to a crawl as all your hopes and dreams die a slow, whimpering death. Congratulations, you're hired. Chapter complete. Proceed to the nervous breakdown. As much as I would love to continue this, I think that I need to have a break from hey, what? There we go. I don't know why it didn't move me along with it. Because that was a lot of reading to do. You know, I don't exactly, you know, agree with the idea that it's quote unquote too text heavy. You know, but I liked it a lot, and I definitely want to play it more. Hopefully I'll play it maybe more this week or maybe next week. It just really depends. You know, I am still kind of taking my break and whatnot. And I don't really know all of the details at this moment in time. A headache just like suddenly came upon me. So much happening for like no reason. It's kind of hugged up. Anyway, we were playing a video game, so we're gonna go ahead and you're gonna go be sent off to Mimi Puffs because she's really cute. She's really cute, so you better go see her over there, Twitch. Okay, Twitch. If you don't, you're in deep shit. I'm gonna come after you. And as for YouTube, I think you'll just go to Cleo, because I don't know what she's doing, but nobody else is really like doing game stuff. But yeah, bye YouTube, see you around. Bye. Alright,